Welcome to Beyond with Diana Stiles. In this podcast, I help you design your life to match your deepest desires and realize the highest version of yourself. I have been there. I had this ever-present nagging voice inside my head that said, "This isn't it." I made big changes and I want to help you do the same. Let's go beyond where you ever thought possible and let me help you get comfortable with being uncomfortable and create certainty by knowing you created the plan, your life, your design, and most importantly, beyond where you are today. Hello and welcome. In today's episode of Beyond, I'm sharing my 5-step process to building the life you truly desire. In the coaching work that I do with individuals and the coursework that I do with groups, I focus on helping people realize what they really want for themselves but haven't yet allowed into their lives. Usually there's a sticking point along the way, and I'll not only explain to you why that is, but also how to overcome these hurdles for yourself. I personally created the 5 steps to create big changes in my own life through the many different chapters. But since then, I've used it successfully with my clients to help them with transformational breakthroughs. These steps can be adapted to anyone. Your vision for yourself will be completely different than that of my clients, but the process will be similar. I call the steps the 5 A's, and I've assigned an A word to each of the steps to make them a little easier to remember and to navigate. And step number 1 is articulate. Get clear on what it is that you truly want. Realizing your heart's desire requires a clear vision. To share a personal example, 2.5 years ago, I resigned from a top job with one of the world's most beloved global brands to set out to ventures unknown. In fact, resign's not even the right word because I didn't resign from anything. I was simply moving toward what I really wanted. But to let you in on a little secret, I spent weeks before I let the company know working on step number 1. I wanted to be very clear on what it is that I was moving toward before I told them that I was actually leaving and before I started taking action steps, actually. The key to success at this stage is to separate yourself completely from your present situation and focus exclusively on what it is that you want. Because we could spend all day about what's right or not right about the situation we're in. This is a time when you really want to allow yourself to dream and not be limited by your current situation or any limiting beliefs or habits that you have that have been holding you back, and really paint a picture for yourself. How you do it depends on your own personality. For me personally, I close my eyes, create a real strong visual, and I like to put meditation music on and really, really think through it. At times, depending on what it is, I can also be a list maker, and I have a lot of clients who prefer to keep their eyes wide open and make really strong lists about this is what I want to bring forward. And I even had a client who's so visual and very talented, actually. She created a picture for herself and drew this is what she was doing, what her cast of characters was doing, meaning what was her spouse doing in the scene, what were her children doing, what was the people that she worked with doing. It was very clear to anyone who looked at that picture what she really wanted to bring into her life. The key questions to ask yourself at this stage are really, how do I want to contribute in this future version of myself? What is going to give me a feeling of deep purpose and meaning? What talents or gifts do I have that I want to use that give me energy to share them and not take energy away? And is there something special about my lifestyle when I picture myself there? Where am I located, for example? In my case, I wanted to have location freedom and be able to live and work anywhere I wanted. Well, anywhere with an internet connection, because that's required for my work. But after 30 years of working, I really wanted freedom. To be my own boss, control what I worked on, with whom I worked with, and certainly where I worked. And so it's essential that you spend time thinking about what are those things for you. Step number 2 is actualize. It's bringing into reality what you really want by allowing yourself to truly feel the emotions of what it's like to actually have it. This is tough for some people, to really picture how it would feel to have it. Also conjuring up the gratitude about having it and noticing those things when you picture yourself there about, is there anything about my personal energy that's changed in this new present reality? When I was imagining this latest change for myself, I had a very simple but clear vision where I woke up on Monday mornings not dreading the fact that it was Monday and not dreading the week ahead. And, in my present life, I really love that feeling when I wake up on Monday morning that it actually matches the energy I had imagined for myself. And I even changed my to-do list to be my get-to-do list because it evoked that feeling of freedom and choice that I was really looking for. So what is that for you? And then step number 3 is allow. What it is that you really want into your life to be allowed into it. Sounds so simple, but it's actually one that separates those who realize what they want and those who don't. This and the next step number 4, which I'll share with you in a minute. But you not only need to make room to allow yourself to have what you really want, but you have to have massive courage to say no to everything else that isn't it, even when it feeds your ego. Full disclosure, on my personal journey, I failed at this step before finally getting through it. I shared with you the picture I had for myself of freedom, no chucklehead bosses, and I got a call for a big job with all the alphabets behind my name. And I looked the other way and talked myself into it, and I found myself working for someone else. That was not on my list of what I wanted. I was assigned to a particular city. That also wasn't it. I also lost completely the feeling of not dreading Mondays. And I will say, after 6 months of dreading Mondays again, I put myself back on course. So allowing it into your life is also saying no to the things that aren't it, letting them in when you see them, and letting anything else that isn't it move beyond you. Step number 4 is abolish, crowding out all those limiting beliefs and old habits and old patterns that are no longer serving you, and replacing them with new thoughts and new ways of thinking and being. This is another one. Very, very difficult. It's an inside-out job here. You have to go deep and be aware of these patterns of beliefs that you have or feelings that you have that are preventing you from allowing what you want into your life. Those feelings of unlovability, unacceptability, or unworthiness, they will hold you back from getting what you really want. And would you believe that with the clients that I work with, I'm probably underestimating when I say that half of the people are not afraid of failure. Half of them are afraid of actually succeeding. So some people really do sabotage themselves, or they feel unworthy, or they don't deserve being able to have the success that they want to have in their lives. And they do something, they have a pattern or a way of not allowing themselves to really get it. The real work lies here. It's this loving of yourself, and it's the utmost important work that you will do. Because if we don't do that, we cannot really attract what we really want. This is an actual walking, waking way of being. There's a knowing that you're worthy, and it's not conceited or narcissistic, but it's the truth of just honoring and loving the self and that feeling of being comfortable in your own skin. Isn't that what we all really want for ourselves? To be comfortable in our own skin and be at peace, and figuring out what it is in our lives that will give us that feeling. I realize these patterns have deep-seated in years of validation from our environment, the other people that are in our lives that make us feel a certain way or reinforce these feelings. We get stuck in the same vibrational patterns. But only you can rewrite that script and change that vibration for yourself. So in order to do that, I always work with people to ask themselves really clearly, when did that belief occur? So become an observer of your actions. And then you say, when did it occur? When did I start doing that? Sometimes, almost more often than not, it's earlier in your lifetime. And ask yourself what actually happened. And then when you have full awareness of the circumstance that created this belief in the first place, you'll have that moment of awareness where you say, oh yeah, wait a minute, I get it. Now I understand why I do that. You may even recognize how many times you've invited someone or something into your life that validated this belief for you again. You understand then at your core the circumstance that created the belief or way of being, and then all of a sudden you've moved now into awareness. And this level of awareness is not all doom and gloom. It's also a time to look at what gifts and learnings those experiences have brought to you. They made you the person you are today. But at the same time, it's okay to abolish our step number 4A, those beliefs that are preventing you from realizing what it is that you truly want now. The events aren't going to change. You're just reframing their meaning for your new reality. Recognizing this helps you move from this kind of reactive state and more into a response state with full awareness. And when you can do that, you're ready for step number 5. Step number 5 is act. Take steps and do the work to bring your desired life into reality. I used to listen to Tony Robbins, and he always had a phrase that stuck with me over, all these, 20 plus years. He always said, never leave the sight of a goal without doing something toward its attainment. And I've been following this line of thinking for, all that time now. Inspired action steps and planning. And how you do it here is you ask yourself, what do I need to do to make this happen for myself? For me, before I resigned, I had to do things like place some net income in the bank or acknowledge that I needed to learn some things about being an entrepreneur after being 30 years in corporate life. I studied what I needed to do. I focused on the successful experts in my space. I spent time thinking about how I would not only do what they're doing, but differentiate myself or disrupt the space for my subscribers or my clients. I had no less than probably 9 solid action steps that would bring this into my life. In my experience of working and helping literally hundreds of people over the years do the same thing, do transformational breakthroughs, I see many people get clear on the articulate state, begin to flirt with how it would feel to actually actualize it. They're really good about making action steps, but it's the messy middle where it all falls down. So sometimes it is helpful to do this inside-out work with external support from a coach, an advisor, a mentor. In some cases, you do some deeper work with a therapist. But most people are creating these shifts to be comfortable in their own skin, as I said earlier, and be at peace. And I know for certain it's possible for each and every one of you, no matter what environment you're starting in. At the highest level, it's being soul-centered. And being soul-centered means that you have the ability to make these shifts for yourself. My wish for you is that you're bringing the 5 A's into your own life and that you'll do the steps to realizing the life you truly desire for your own life. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to our future episodes where we'll go deeper on these individual steps. And I will also bring in experts to be able to talk with you about good real-life examples of people who've done just that. So thank you for listening to Beyond with Diana Stiles, and I look forward to speaking with you on my next episode.